The last several shows, we have been doing exclusively news, all the latest from Israel. And I really thought this was an important opportunity to focus on a different aspect of our coronavirus COVID-19 reality here in the world. It's perhaps affecting a lot of people around the world, here in Israel and around the world, and that is mental health. Mental distress, if you are unaware, is the #1 health issue in the world these days. In Israel, by the way, this is astounding. This is horrible. There's a teen suicide once every 3 days in Israel. And the statistics that I'm giving you now, I didn't come up with them on my own. I got them from my good friend, Arnie Draiman. He is a consultant for a company called MoodKnight. And they're at the forefront of trying to help people with potentially disastrous mental health, especially relevant now during coronavirus. MoodKnight's mission is to provide society the tools needed to make the next leap in mental health care for young people. They have developed a software platform that can detect this is unbelievable, mental distress online in real time from texts, posts, emojis, chatbots. Their artificial intelligence program has been proven to be 92% accurate, similar to what humans can do. So without further ado, my good friend Arnie Draiman, a consultant for MoodKnight. Thanks for joining me today, Arnie.
Thank you, Josh. It's a very disturbing statistic that you had mentioned early on, and mental distress has been indeed on the rise, particularly during the last 9 to 10 months with COVID around the world. The World Health Organization has put mental distress as the #1 health issue above anything, cancer and heart disease and all the what we would call regular killers. Mental health has certainly just grown, and it needs to be dealt with in some fashion.
So the company you represent, MoodKnight, they have seemed to find some type of methodology using people's online behavior in order to assist those. It looks like particularly children. Perhaps you can expand and talk about if it affects or it can have an impact on adults as well. They're able to understand based on what you do online if you are in need of help. I mean, this is revolutionary. Go ahead and describe that.
Correct. First of all, so it's great to have a Israeli startup, an early stage startup, part of the great Israeli high-tech scene. This is in social tech, it's called, where it's high-tech used for the benefits of society. The software has been running live for 2 years already. It's not just a theory from some PhD in a university somewhere that it could work, but it's actually been proven. The founder, Chava Doron Soferman, she has almost 20 years now been running a website called 4Girls, the number 4Girls. And it's really a forum for teenage and young adolescent women here in Israel. It's very popular. Tens of thousands of girls interact all the time. And she noticed a few years ago that there was already a sharp increase in mental distress online, and took the steps necessary to try to create some kind of technological solution to detecting that mental distress online and then being able to do something once you've detected it. So the software has been developed. It uses artificial intelligence and machine learning and what they call NLP, natural language processing. It works in tandem with medical professionals, mental health professionals, so that psychologists and social workers and others are involved to keep the artificial intelligence, let's say, in line. Because humans can only do so much and machines can only do so much. But together they can achieve this 92% success rate, as you mentioned, of detecting mental distress online, and then alerting. First what they do is they categorize it. It could be a high risk, medium risk, or low risk. High risk goes immediately to the emergency authorities, the police, the helplines, whatever nonprofit might be in the area to work with a person. I'll take an aside at the moment, a person, because it doesn't have to be just children or teens or adolescents or young people. It could be anybody. And it could be not just mental distress as it relates to suicide. It could be any kind of mental distress. It could be drug and alcohol addiction. It could be the software is pliable so that it can be taught any set of keywords over the course of time and then improved upon so that it can actually detect whatever you would be looking for.
So I want to understand how it works. So in order for MoodKnight software to have the ability to see what's going on online, so an organization or a company would need to install this software into their system, and then it would have the opportunity then to monitor people's behaviors. Or is this where are we talking about, are they able to just detect automatically somebody on Facebook who is experiencing mental health issues? I mean, how are they able to be effective in reaching those in need?
Excellent question. So the software comes with what you would call a dashboard so that it does fit into the platform. It could be a website, could be some sort of social interaction site, it could be an application, an app of some sort. And then what people are posting is public information, right? We're not talking about anybody's privacy here. It's all public, all things they post, like take Facebook as an example. Take any of the like Reddit or any of the other sites. It's all public information. If they Facebook or Reddit or any particular platform chose to use this software to monitor their posts, they would get alerts on a dashboard, again, defining them as either high, medium, or low. And depending on what, like I said, the high risk go emergency services immediately. The medium risk would wind up with mental health professionals. And low risk was one of the great things that MoodKnight has done. They've been training teenagers to do peer-to-peer counseling work online with other teens, so that on a low risk assessment, it's certainly, and there's proven models for this, to use the peer-to-peer project. So they've done it in Bat Yam with the municipality there last year. They are now looking to do a project together with the umbrella organization of youth groups here in Israel, for B'nai Akiva and Sofim and all the other youth groups that they have here, the Scouts, so that they could do a joint project and really create a massive amount of online positivity, right? Getting teens to be able to react to other teens and catch the issue early, because we know that mental distress, like many other, physical ailments, if you catch it early enough, it doesn't tumble into something worse. It doesn't become those high risk categories. It stays low risk and can be dealt with and it can be improved upon.
I mean, this is so very important. I mean, we hear so many horror stories of particular teens who experience some degree of shame on social media or being bullied on social media, and then go to the extreme, whether it's God forbid suicide or trying to harm themselves or whatnot. I mean, this sounds like something so revolutionary that this should be part of any type of interface all over the world, in order to social media can be so positive, but on the other hand, it can cause so much damage, especially for the young people out there. I mean, this Israeli technology sounds like it should be really interfaced throughout the world. I mean, how far along are you? Is the company at this point in terms of distributing its technology to all the various channels around the world, really?
So thankfully, over the last 2 years, they've had grants from the Rashut HaChadshanut, the Israel Innovation Authority, from Digital Israel, and they were chosen as part of the Microsoft's AI for Good program. So they've been getting some push to make technology, say, more public, more available, right? But they're still, as I mentioned, it's an early startup. They have a grant now for 700,000 shekels, about $200,000, but less than $200,000. But they need a matching grant in order to get it. The online health, digital health ecosystem, as they call it, is growing, right? We all know just in the last 9 months with COVID, telehealth, you've all of a sudden been able to speak to a doctor and get information and get prescriptions and get all kinds of things done online that a year ago was pretty much impossible. And so that whole field of online health services is growing. And so they're really positioned in a good place in order to branch out and make the market grow. This project that I mentioned, the peer-to-peer project with the youth group, would be a great example of combining philanthropy, right? If a philanthropist wanted to sponsor, let's say, this technology and program the project for a particular youth group, say for all of the Israeli scouts, just think of the amazing good that could be done to have it run. And of course, MoodKnight is looking at, as a business, not just as a philanthropy, for investors, and they're looking to expand into Europe. They've already had 2 inquiries from major health organizations in Europe, and to expand in the United States as well. Again, language is not an issue. It's the first one ever to be done in Hebrew. They can easily expand to English and French, Spanish, etc.
So what do we need to do, Arnie? How can we get MoodKnight the funds that they need in order to make it happen, get that matching grant? What's the best way to get in touch with you? What's the best way to get in touch with the company? Let's give them a push. Let's get them what they need in order to help teens out there, young people, especially during this coronavirus. I know, thank God, we have the vaccines coming out, but I was just talking about it with somebody this morning. This is a critical period. People, unfortunately, seem to be lax because they see that the vaccines have come out. I mean, we really need to stay strong, whether it's, following the restrictions or, keeping our mental health in check during these critical times before the vaccine kicks in. Arnie, how can we get in touch with you? How can people reach you? How can people reach the company? Maybe there's somebody out there listening right now who wants to help.
Terrific. So MoodKnight is spelled M-O-O-D, Mood, then Night like K-N-I-G-H-T, and the teams are called Team Knight, and their job is to go out and be the white knights in shining armor to really help save others, save lives. We know that it works. We see that it works. It's been proven that the one in Bat Yam, 25 girls were trained, and imagine they reached over 10,000 other teams. Wow. Just over a period of a summer. You can, right? It's crazy. So MoodKnight, MoodKnight, MoodKnight.com is their website. The information is there. You can reach me, Arnie. What's the best way? My last name is Draiman, D-R-A-I-M-A-N. So my email address is ajdraiman@gmail.com. They can reach through you. You know how to reach me easily. And I'm more than happy to discuss the project further, either the philanthropic side of it, and it can be expanded not just youth organizations and not just youth organizations in Israel, but really anywhere, or investors in the great big world of high tech, Israeli high tech and innovation. What it's all about.
So if anybody did not catch that, did not get the information, get in touch with me. I'm happy to put you in touch with Arnie Draiman, consultant for MoodKnight, doing holy work, especially now during these troubling and trying times. I want to thank you for your time today.
Thank you,
Yishar Koach, as they say. Keep it up. Keep up your holy work.
You.
Helping people out there during the pandemic and beyond.